Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Happy New Year. It's January 1st, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can always find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for January 1st. First up, it's Ohio State and Northwestern. This one's going to be 7:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. You know, if I was a Northwestern fan, I'd be really excited right now because you look at your team, you're 10-2 this season overall, you're 1-0 in conference play, and your one conference win was a road game, a true road game against Michigan State. It was a 7-point win against a Michigan State team that's played a lot of tough teams. They pulled off some big-time upsets themselves. So that's a big win for Northwestern. And you see, you're 10-2 despite being ranked 316th in effective field goal percentage, 283rd in three-point field goal percentage, and 297th in two-point field goal percentage. You're having a miserable start to the year shooting the basketball, yet you're winning a ton of games. And a lot of that's been because of the defense. The defense is ranked number 9 in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. It forces turnovers. It gets those defensive rebounds. And they're number 1 right now in the country, Northwestern is, in two-point field goal percentage defense. But you look at the fact that you're still winning games, shooting the ball so poorly. You look at your team free throw percentages, ranked 34th in the country. So you're shooting the ball well at the free throw line, 76.3% as a team. You can expect some positive regression for this Northwestern offense. And if you're already winning games and you're expecting better things on offense, things are going to get really good for Northwestern in Big Ten play this year, in my opinion. Ohio State on the other side, a good team. They're number 3 in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. They have some nice wins on their resume over teams like Cincinnati, Texas Tech, and Rutgers. But we've also seen them struggle in some step-up spots as well. They do have their only true road game being a game against Duke, and they lost that game by 9 points. So I just don't love this spot here for Ohio State, and I'm looking to back Northwestern quite often in Big Ten play. So give me Northwestern in this matchup. I think they grab the outright win, but I'm going to take them in this spot. Next up, it's another Big Ten Conference matchup, this one between Iowa and Penn State. This one's going to be 5:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network, so you can watch this game before watching that Ohio State game. Iowa, it has not been easy to watch Iowa hoops lately. They are lost 3 of their last 4 games, including that big-time upset loss to Eastern Illinois. You were, I think, 30.5-point favorites in that game. You lose it outright by 9 points. Just not a loss you can take if you're Iowa. But, you know, this is a good spot, in my opinion, for the Hawkeyes to grab a bounce-back win. You look at Penn State. They've really done a good job at making a lot of tough shots at a really good rate. But do I think that they can hold up those kind of shooting numbers all season long? I just don't think so. They're not a very good offensive rebounding team. They don't get to the free throw line, so they rely on making those really tough, low quality and low percentage shots at high percentage rates. And just, you know, natural regression says it's just not going to be able to hold on to that for the entire season, especially in a tough Big Ten conference play and conference schedule. Iowa is a good offensive team. They take care of the ball. I do think they're going to have better shooting performances in conference play than we saw in their most recent game against Nebraska, where they only shot 25% from 3, 26.7% from the field, and 2-point field goals. This is a much better shooting team than that. I think Iowa has a nice feel-good win here. Really a must-win game after you start 0-2 in Big Ten play. Give me the Hawkeyes here, a nice buy-low spot with Iowa. Next up, it's Cincinnati and Temple. This one's going to be 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. You know, Cincinnati's in great form right now. They've won 7 of their last 8. They've won 4 straight games, including their first game of AAC play over Tulane. It was the home opener in conference action, 88-77. And now you look at Temple on the other side. Yes, they snapped their 3-game losing streak by beating East Carolina on the road. And we were on ECU in that game. They just fell a little bit short, 59-57. But I don't like the spot either for Temple. You know, before that game against East Carolina, Temple lost a bad loss to Maryland Eastern Shore, 86-78. It's just not a game you can lose if you're Temple, if you're an American Conference team. You also lost games to Ole Miss and to Penn, and the Penn game was a 20-point blowout. So, you know, I do think that Temple has some issues. We saw at the beginning of the year they pulled off a few big upsets over Villanova and Rutgers, but this team is just not the same, in my opinion, from that team at the beginning of the season. They're struggling rebounding the ball. They're turning the ball over a ton, and I haven't liked the way their defense has looked either. This Cincinnati team has made big improvements offensively. Part of that's been it's a better shooting team than last year's roster, but they also take care of the basketball really well. 12th ranked in the country in turnover percentage on offense. I think Cincinnati's got it in this one. I'm going to take the Bearcats and lay the points on the road. Next up, we go to the Big East as Butler takes on Georgetown. This one's going to be 6:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. There's not going to be many opportunities for Georgetown to win conference games this year, but if there was a spot where I like their chances of just a little bit more, this would be one of them, as Butler is not in good form. They've lost 3 straight games, and you got to look at the final score of these games, and sure, you played some tough teams earlier on in conference action against UConn and Creighton, and you lost those games 68-46, so by 22 points, 78-56, 22 points again. But then your most recent game was a feasible matchup, a game where you would think Butler could compete in at a home against Providence. Not a great Providence team this year. You lose the game by 20 points, 72-52. I just can't trust this Butler team, really on both sides of the ball, but especially on offense, where we figured there was going to be some natural regression. Butler was off to a great start shooting the ball, but in your last 3 games, your first 3 conference games, under 60 points in all 3. I just can't trust you on the road. This is a solid Georgetown offense, ranked inside the top 100 in adjusted offensive efficiency, and even though the defense has not been good, I think it's good enough in this spot against a really struggling offense. So give me Georgetown here. I think they grab the win. And the final game we're going to talk about for Sunday's card in college basketball, it's between Cornell and Dartmouth. This one's going to be 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. To me, this game sets up to be a blowout win for Cornell. I'm willing to lay the points, the big number with the big red in this game. As you look at Cornell's offense, 61st in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency, one of the best shooting teams in the country. And sure, there's some natural regression concerns with this offense, but they take care of the ball, they get those second chance opportunities, and they're very, very efficient in the paint, where they're 5th ranked right now in 2-point field goal percentage. But on the other side, Dartmouth's offense just can't compete with those numbers. They're ranked 347th in adjusted offensive efficiency. They're not a good shooting team. They turn the ball over left and right, and they're on a 5-game losing streak against teams that, honestly, you would expect Dartmouth to compete with most years. You lose to Vermont by 16 points. You lose to Central Connecticut by 9 points. BU, Boston University, by 8 points. South Florida and UMass also losses, where most of those games, or actually all those games, Dartmouth scored under 60 points. So, and this is an offense. It's not like they play very slow-paced basketball. They're actually one of the faster teams in the Ivy League, and you're still not scoring buckets. I don't like your chances against this Cornell offense that speeds things up, scores plenty of points, and I think it's going to be an ugly game from start to finish. So give me Cornell here, laying the points in this conference matchup. And that's it. Those are the games for the first day of 2023. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bet, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.